Without Barriers, another an exciting edition of our joint Grow Fast, Grow Right, SBEC and We Inc. program. I'm Andrew Sherman. I'm here with my co-host Karen Kerrigan.
Good to see you.
And we have some phenomenal content for you today. We, of course, have to close the loop on the NCAA tournament to get that out of the way quickly. I think it's time to go right to the mea culpa.
I was
Go
right.
ahead. And I was wrong. There we go. We've got
I picked Florida.
I picked Maryland.
I went with the purely business decision.
And I went with emotion.
There we go.
And entrepreneurship.
Lessons to be learned from that.
Entrepreneurship is a little bit of both, isn't it?
It is.
But at the end of the day, you got to go with your business instincts over your emotional instincts. We have a really great show planned today. We, of course, have our View from the Hill, sponsored by AT&T, and we'll get into that in a couple of minutes. We have a couple of current events and issues to share. And then we're going to focus today on probably one of the most important topics we've covered so far, which is intellectual capital, how to protect it, how to leverage it, how to make money from it, and how to grow your business with your intellectual property at the platform. But there's been a lot going on since we've been on the show last.
Yeah, there has been, and a lot of events coming up. I mean, things that we should really touch upon. One thing that I would like to remind our viewers and SBE Council members and supporters and all those who may be watching this webcast that if you are a business owner and if you are a growing business, that you still have time to look into applying for the Inc. 500 and Inc. 5000 list. Right. That application process closes out on April 15th, so that's coming up very quickly. And Inc. has contacted us again and said, look, keep encouraging your business owners, your entrepreneurs to apply for this list. I mean, there's really a lot of good things that go along with being an Inc. 500 or Inc. 5000 member, including networking and events and all this other good stuff.
I spoke at last year's Inc. 500 conference in Savannah on this topic. In fact, some of the content we'll be talking about today was content that I shared to the Inc. 500 winners, and the dynamics of that audience and the energy and the enthusiasm and some of the interesting leadership styles and stuff was just great. I mean, so much of what we've talked about in previous shows and in future shows are reflective of the Inc. 500 companies doing it properly.
Absolutely. And another big announcement on the SBA is having its National Small Business Week. We had Entrepreneurship Week a couple of months ago. And each and every year, the SBA has a National Small Business Week. So 2007 National Small Business Week is April 23rd. So they'll be having a big event here in Washington. They'll have their SBA state people and person of the year and contractors of the year and all that. But the SBE Council is a partner in that event. And again, if you're a member of ours who lives in the area or is coming to town, let me know. And if you have an interest in attending that conference, we are going to be sponsoring a reception either Monday or Tuesday, and our folks will know soon through our e-news when that will be. But that's another big way or good reason to celebrate entrepreneurship, and it's a great networking opportunity as well. Yeah,
and it's rare that within 60 days we've had two national celebrations of entrepreneurship and small business. It's a great time this year to be a small business owner or a growing entrepreneurial business, and all the resources and the great dialogue and potential legislative policies that come out of all that is just really wonderful.
Good, yeah. And now, lastly, but not leastly.
Not leastly, that's right.
And most importantly, we are a strategic partner with Grow Fast, Grow Right in the Diversity Summit that you have coming up on May 3rd. So why don't you talk a little bit about that, Andrew?
We are so excited. We have on May 3rd in Washington, D.C., and if you haven't yet registered, you're welcome to do so. We have information online at growfastgrowright.com. Our big annual Diversity and Business Growth Summit. Last year we had it in Memphis at Federal Express, and this year it's in Washington, D.C. And we take a day and just focus on the role and importance of diversity as a business growth driver. Plenty of great conferences talking about it as a workplace issue, but we really look at it much more strategically. Karen's speaking at the event. We've got a lot of great and wonderful speakers and resources there, and it's just a day to both celebrate the role of diversity as a business growth driver and also talk about how organizations of all sizes, government organizations, for-profit companies, big companies, little companies, can better use the diversity issue to help propel their business plans.
Wow.
It's going to be a great day.
No, it sounds like it's going to be terrific. And folks can find out by?
On the website. You can register online at www.growfastgrowright. Or email us and we'll get you some more information.
Right. And SBE Council and We Inc. have been sending out notices to our members on a weekly basis, and we'll do that again this week and every week.
There we go.
Until that room fills up, which sounds like it will be short.
We're getting close.
Yeah.
Getting real close.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah, so lots of good stuff. And again, some of the things that we cover in our previous shows today and future shows, I mean, these are the kinds of things that you get to experience live when SBC is having an event. I know that we're planning some joint events perhaps in the fall, so we'll keep you posted on that, particularly as our viewer base. I mean, I saw the numbers yesterday. The viewer base is really increasing. The number of you taking an hour out of your day to watch us either now, live, or later in the future, we really appreciate it.
Well, we expected that, right?
That's right. We did. So what's happened on Capitol Hill?
Oh, well, a little bit of stuff. A little bit of stuff. The Senate is in recess. The House is out of recess. And the House will be back next week. But there's been some interesting things going on that I can update the folks on. First of all, let me just give an update on some of the previous issues that we talked about. One that we talked about in our last show was the issue of the 3% withholding mandate on government contractors. That is slated to kick in 2011. That would withhold 3% of any payment to a business or an entity that contracts with government. And more and more, as we talk about this, more business owners are finding out about it. More members of Congress are finding out about what they actually voted for. And there are bills in the House and the Senate to repeal the mandate. But the House Small Business Committee hearing in mid-March did have a hearing on this. So it was one of the first hearings that we had on the impact of the 3% withholding mandate. So that's a really good sign that we actually, there's legislation, there's been a hearing in the House Small Business Committee. All the groups are working to get co-sponsors on the pieces of legislation. And the SBE Council, we did submit written testimony based upon feedback that we've been getting from government contractors on how the 3% mandate will impact their firms. And it's going to be a pretty harsh impact.
One of the things I failed to mention on our last show when we were talking about this, and I just kicked myself afterwards, is I was involved in founding an organization 5 years ago called CCAF, the Small and Emerging Contractors Advisory Forum, which meets 4 or 6 times a year, educational events, typically high-level government speakers talking to small and mid-sized contractors. And the legislative committee of the board has been monitoring this 3% issue. We have an expert member on this issue who's been monitoring it on Capitol Hill, went to the hearings and took notes and is writing up things. And so, clearly, if you're a contractor of any sort, whether it's high-level defense or just selling basic supplies, this is going to impact you, and we need to keep monitoring it very carefully.
We do, and we need to repeal it. So anyway, we have a very large coalition.
We should have a new signal. That legislation is out of here, right? We have to have a
That's right.
repeal signal, right?
We need a graphic for this.
Double
we
thumbs
do.
out.
And some sound effects too, right?
Business. That's right. We need an old horn or something.
That's right. But so that's great. It's great that more people are finding out about it. They care about it, and on a bipartisan basis, there is support for repealing it.
And my favorite part of your summary was when you said some of the congressmen are just now learning what they voted for.
That's right.
How many times has that happened on the Hill?
Quite a bit. Quite a bit. And these big omnibus packages, particularly, there's things that get thrown in there, slipped in there that they don't really know about until later.
Right.
So this was one of those cases. The past couple of weeks or past month, both houses have also been working on the budget.
Right.
And essentially the House and the Senate each of them passed a budget framework, which sort of sets the parameters of how much government is going to spend, how much they're going to tax, how much they're going to do whatever they're going to do. And so there's a couple of things. First of all, the budget now is over $2 trillion. We have hit that mark.
You're saying the budget is now higher than our 2 salaries combined.
Yes, that's right.
I knew it would happen one of these days. I just didn't know exactly when we'd get there.
Can you imagine if the government had to comply with Sarbanes-Oxley and their budget and accounting, how much fun that would be? And it would keep all the accountants and lawyers